been a minute. We finally back. It's taking a long time. I know, it's probably taking a little bit longer than y'all wished it did. But without further ado, I could not let Cameron, what's his name? Cameron Daniels off the hook. I couldn't let him off the hook. Running for governor of Kentucky. He's already shown himself. Breonna Taylor, a 26-year-old woman, was fatally shot in her Louisville, Kentucky apartment on March 13, 2020, when at least 7 police officers forced entry into her apartment as part of an investigation into a drug dealing operation. Today I stand before you to shed light on the actions and decisions of one individual who has demonstrated a profound lack of integrity, compassion, and justice. Daniel Cameron, the Attorney General of Kentucky, whom is running for governor of Kentucky, is a man whose actions have discredited his position and shaken the very foundations of trust in our legal system. Let us not forget the case that brought Daniel Cameron into the national spotlight, the tragic death of Breonna Taylor. This young woman's life was cut short in a hail of bullets as police officers entered her home on a no-knock warrant. The officers fired indiscriminately, leaving Breonna Taylor dead and her loved ones devastated. In the face of such horrifying tragedy, one would expect the Attorney General to stand up for justice, to demand accountability, and fight for the rights of the victims. But what do we witness from Daniel Cameron? A grand jury presentation that appeared to be nothing more than a cover-up, a betrayal of the public's trust.
A developing story today we're following, new in the Breonna Taylor case. 3 grand jurors on that case have filed a petition calling for the impeachment of the Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron. Louisville attorney Kevin Glogauer filed the petition on behalf of the anonymous jurors so that their names would not become public. They say Cameron excluded key information about the Taylor case from them and the rest of the grand jury to, quote, to satisfy his political ambitions. The petition also claims Cameron engaged in making false statements and concealing evidence.
Cameron failed to bring adequate charges against the officers involved in Breonna Taylor's killing. He seemed to be more interested in protecting the police than seeking the justice for an innocent woman. The grand jury process itself was marred with questions and doubts, with reports of potential misconduct and bias. It was a gross mishandling of a case that demanded justice, transparency, and fair examination of the facts. Moreover, Daniel Cameron's actions have consistently shown a lack of commitment to the pursuit of justice for all.
Our team walked them through every homicide offense and also presented all of the information that was available to the grand jury, and then the grand jury was ultimately the one that made the decision about indicting Detective Hankinson for wanton endangerment.
Were they presented with any charges for Mattingly or Cosgrove?
Well, what I would say is that they were walked through all the homicide offenses, and with that information and the information and facts that were provided to them that we uncovered in our investigation, they made the determination that Detective Hankinson was the one that needed to be indicted here.
In your grand jury presentation, did you recommend any charges at all against either Mattingly or Cosgrove in the shooting of Breonna Taylor?
Well, basically your question is about whether we recommended any murder charges against Cosgrove and Mattingly, and the answer is no. Ultimately, our judgment is that the charge that we could prove at trial beyond a reasonable doubt was for wanton endangerment against Mr. Hankinson.
This conduct is unacceptable. It is heartbreaking. It erodes the community trust necessary.
He has demonstrated a clear bias in favor of those in power, choosing to protect the interests of the elite rather than the marginalized communities he was elected to serve. His refusal to hold law enforcement accountable for their actions speaks volumes about where his loyalties lie. Cameron's discredited track record extends beyond the Breonna Taylor case. His stance on criminal justice reform has been regressive and out of touch with the cause for meaningful change. He has opposed necessary measures to address systematic racism and has failed to prioritize the needs of the communities most affected by injustice. Furthermore, Cameron has shown a disregard for the ladies and gentlemen. We cannot afford to have leaders like Daniel Cameron in positions of power. We need individuals who will fight for justice, uphold the rule of law, and prioritize the needs of the people over their own personal agendas. Daniel Cameron's actions have discredited him as a champion of justice, and it is our duty to hold him accountable. Let us stand together, demand transparency, and support those who are dedicated to upholding the values we hold dear. We must work tirelessly to ensure that justice is served and that the leaders like Daniel Cameron are held accountable for their actions. The future of our justice system depends on it.